Shaky, shaky. Good morning. Happy Friday the 13th. Welcome to Beans. I'm Shelley Van. This is my co-host Dan. We're so excited to bring you a very special guest today and kick things off with a few giveaways. So if you're in the chat, you're on the wheel. But if you're not yet commenting, get in those comments. Say GM. Tell us what you're drinking. How do you caffeinate? If you caffeinate. I think Roustan's drinking chocolate milk. I don't know how I feel about that. But yeah, let's get things going. How are you doing today, Dan?
I'm doing all right. It's Friday the 13th, so a little scary.
There's also a lot going on in the world.
Yes.
But we will...
Crypto markets are taking a pause from the recent
turmoil
and everything. I think there's a little bit of a macro event happening. We've done a lot of content this week. We were on OTC Live on Wednesday. Mm-hmm. We did the tastycrypto show, and now we got Beans. So we're just pumping out content over here.
It's true.
But got a very special guest. Do you want to do a quick intro before we bring him on?
Yeah. So the homie Roustan is so many things. Awesome human, incredible artist, remarkable builder of things in Web3, from just worlds to skins to just art. And I think some of you may know him from YouTube. I know we were on OTC Live and I mentioned that he was coming on the show, and someone was like, Roustan, I've seen his YouTube, so you might know him. He's from Chicago, and you didn't know that? Yeah, from Chicago. And we can let him introduce himself a little more.
Sure.
But thank you for being here. Welcome, Roustan.
What's up, Roustan?
In full
Good morning.
Friday the 13th fashion.
Happy Friday the 13th.
I love that.
I'll take this off. It's way hard to breathe in that thing.
Oh, that's awesome. And
Thank
you wear that
having me.
You wear that every Halloween and scare the children?
I do wear it every Halloween, and I wear it usually every Friday the 13th too. Sometimes I crash events. The last one I crashed a gallery show and didn't tell them I was coming like that, and nobody knew it was me, and I just hung around there the whole time as Jason.
That's awesome. Was it like a super swanky, fancy gallery show?
Oh yeah, really high-end gallery.
Where was this? Was this in LA or New York?
It's Torrance, California. It's where I actually had my last gallery show about a month ago.
Okay.
Really cool place.
That's awesome. All right, so introduce yourself, please, for anyone who doesn't know.
My name is Paul Roustan. I'm a body painter. I paint on people, and then I photograph them. And I've been doing that for 20 years now, which is crazy. And 4 years ago, I caught wind of NFTs and jumped right in, never looked back.
20 years body painting.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy. I think that's the best way to describe it. Why would anybody do that? It's insane.
Well, I'm interested on the transition to your NFTs. How did you get introduced to them?
So in 2014, I was interested in Bitcoin. I've always been technologically savvy. My first computer was a Commodore 64 back in the 80s, and one day I was watching YouTube and I saw a little thumbnail that said crypto and art, and it piqued my interest. I was like, oh wow, because in 2014 when I was dabbling in Bitcoin, I got bored of it and stopped using it. But then when I saw this thumbnail and saw that I could potentially do something with my art, I immediately watched that video, and it was 2 days later minted my first NFT.
Oh shit. Okay, that's cool.
What was the date on your first NFT?
I believe it was March 7th, 2021.
Okay.
Something like that. It was on OpenSea, and I think the video I made a video of minting that, and I don't think that's on YouTube anymore because the model had a boyfriend that didn't like her being on YouTube, so I pulled that video down. But I did a test of 7 NFTs, and the first one was free, and then the next one was like $1, and then like each one went up like a few dollars, and so that first one was minted almost immediately. I expected like nobody to do anything, and that first one was gone in a flash, and it has since resold for like a couple $100, something like that.
That's
So that was
awesome.
like a big surprise. That was an experiment, you know.
Can we find it?
Pretty cool.
Yeah,
Can I
where
find my
where
NFT?
where can we find it?
It's on
Um,
OpenSea.
it's on OpenSea, but it's on my old hacked account. So you would have to search. Let me see if I can find it for you.
Okay.
Created. It's so crazy how old this stuff is. I found it. I'll post the link in Discord for you. Here it is. See if I was right. It was it doesn't put the specific date. 4 years ago is all it says. Send
Come
me
on,
the
it's
link.
blockchain. You can find the specific date.
Yeah, let me check that. Details. March 7th, 2021. I was right. Nailed it.
March
Yeah,
7th,
boy.
2021. Huh?
Love that. Let me, Dan, I'm gonna email this to you.
Okay.
This is so silly.
I'll bring it up in a sec. I don't have Discord on the main computer I'm on, so Shelley's gonna send it over.
I was like, I immediately understood the value of the NFT for animators, for video artists, for types of art that are not tangible, you know. And so that first NFT, it's a short video, like a 5-second clip that's looped and
Actually, is it
reversed.
okay that we share this? Because you said you
Yeah.
pulled this off. Okay.
Yeah, I think can't remember if there's nudity on it or not, or if that's an issue.
No, it should be fine. But I was just making sure the model is
Oh
okay.
yeah,
with
there's
it.
no nudity. Like, I made it safe.
Ooh, and it's that pretty water flow. What do you call that pattern?
It's water caustics.
Water caustics. Beautiful.
It's been a long time since I've seen that. I don't even remember.
It's aged well.
Yeah.
Do you ever look back at your work and say, "Oh, I was a noob"?
Oh yeah, definitely.
So I've noticed a lot of your recent work is the script body painting. What
Yeah.
inspires your designs? Do you follow trends? Are you doing your own thing? Do you go
No.
through like an era?
I've always wanted to paint words on people, and for the longest time I couldn't sort of pinpoint the best way to do it that wasn't like cliche or tacky, and it just hit me, I don't know, 4 months ago, to use Old English. There's a form of graffiti called calligraphy, and it's absolutely stunning. And it, like, when I look at it, the aesthetic of it is gorgeous, and it's, you know, it's like an art form in itself. And I wanted to learn it and apply it onto the body. So I started doing that like 4 months ago, and you know, the first one is not as good as my most recent one, and it's like what I have in my head of where I want to take it is way beyond where it is now. But the only way to get there is to do it, you know, one at a time. And so I've been practicing calligraphy, Old English calligraphy, and applying it to the body.
Yeah, I imagine that's challenging just because of the movement and the different contours of the body to get the words.
Oh yeah, I mean, luckily with my 20 years, I'm pretty used to it, so it's not a big deal for me. But yes, to make a straight line on the human body can be tricky, you know.
So, let's go. This is all incredible, and I'm so glad you're here. But let's talk about the metaverse worlds that you've brought to life with your art. You've built a few or many. You tell us how many art galleries in metaverse worlds, and what made you choose the metaverse over IRL shows.
I did probably one, two, three, four, at least 6 galleries. I think it's hard to tell. I've built a lot of stuff, but I've been showing in galleries since 2008 in real life galleries, and when I started doing metaverse galleries, I remember just before I bought into Decentraland, I was actually considering renting a space to have my own real life gallery. And the thing that talked me out of it was just like the maintenance. Like I remember I did this gallery show and patrons broke the toilet. And that never got out of my head. I was like, man, I don't want to run a place where people just trash the place and break the toilet, and then I got to fix it, and then I have to pay this, and then I have to deal with landlords or whatever. And so Decentraland came around just at the right time, and I bought land immediately and just dodged all those headaches basically, and it's mine. I own it, and nobody can tell me what to do, and there was no legal ramifications of me having something nude on it, or and so it was like a no-brainer for me. It was like the biggest purchase I ever made in my life too, and I had no fear about it and no doubts. It was kind of crazy.
Ooh, that gut feeling of just,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and I bought it the week before Facebook announced Meta. And so my virtual land 10x'd in a week. And
Wow.
I had the opportunity to flip it for 10 times what I paid for it. And I couldn't. I was like, no, I can't do that. This is like worth more than the money, and that was definitely true. I've since made back that money that I would have, the 10x money that I would have made. I made that back over the years, but on top of that, I learned how to create wearables, how to code a little bit, how to build virtual worlds. It introduced me to Hyperfy, and Hyperfy was a huge success in my opinion, as far as like NFT collecting and profiting. Yeah.
So back to the wearables. Can you talk a little bit about what made you decide to start your first wearable, what that process was like, learning how to do it, and then, how you've blended your art into the space?
Well, it was a no-brainer in Decentraland because it's such a big part of Decentraland is the wearables. So it wasn't like I had to think hard and long about wanting to make one. It was just kind of, all right, got land, created a show, bought my first wearable. I should do a wearable. And my first instinct was to create a t-shirt, which was silly. And I actually made a whole t-shirt. And then as soon as I finished it, I was like, why am I making a t-shirt when I can make anything I can possibly imagine, And I thought I should make a body painting. So it was just like obvious, And then people could wear my body paintings that can't do it in real life, potentially. Maybe they're too far away from me, or maybe they're too insecure. So I started working on a body painting wearable, and that took forever because I didn't know Blender. And so I had to really figure out how to do that. It took me like 3 months to pull that one off. And during that time, like I submitted it for approval, and it was not passing. It wasn't passing the requirements for 3 months. So during that time, I passed a jean jacket with a shirt with my photo on the back of the jean jacket. I had passed 2 of those, and I think there was a third one. Maybe I can't remember now. Maybe the rad jacket. I'm not sure if it was before or after that, but yeah. By the time the body paint wearable came out, I was a lot more seasoned in creating wearables.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but that has a token gated benefit to it? The jean jackets?
It did. In the version 2 build, it seems like every decision I made was like unconsciously the correct decision, like involuntarily. And so, first I bought my land, it came with property. I built my first build in the builder, which was very limited. So then I started learning Blender to build a world or a gallery. And the land that I bought came with this this house, and so I took the house and I just started renovating it, basically tearing it apart, took all the windows out, changed the floor on one floor, and then made access to the roof. And then there was this little section that I was like, this would be a cool spot for a hot tub, and I was like, I want to have a roof hot tub. So I built that, and I forget what your question was.
Token gating.
Oh yeah, right. So then I think on the second or third party, I added like a little VIP floor, and that was above the roof, and I decided to make that token gated. So to get up there, you needed to have a jean jacket. It was super reasonably priced. It was like 15 mana at the time, or 3 mana, which was like $5, I think, at the time, or maybe less. And to my surprise, people wanted it. They wanted to be up there. They wanted to be in the highest point that they could use this jacket, you know. So I ended up selling a bunch of those and had parties with people going up there. It was pretty cool.
Can people still buy this, or is this connected to your old wallet?
They can still buy it, yeah. And I mean, it does go to my old wallet, but every once in a while I'm able to move it. I did notice recently I had to move something on that old wallet, and I had to move some ETH to for gas fees, and it instantly got drained. So the drain is still there, but I think the mana, like my mana royalties, might still work. But I usually give the basic jacket to people just as freebies when
Can we
when
take a
they're
moment and
new,
have a
or
little?
if like, you know, it's their first day, or they come in and it's the first time I meet them and they're on my property and they say hello, I usually drop that into their wallet.
So, can we take just a moment and talk about how you got hacked so that other people can learn?
Oh yeah. So because I have like a pretty good YouTube, and I've been doing my stuff for 20 years, it's like it's not new for me to get asked to do interviews and vlogs and things. And so, as usual, I got a request to do an interview, and this guy emailed me, but this person went the extra step and sent me all these questions that they wanted to ask me. Usually that doesn't happen. Usually it's just like on the spot, you know. And we scheduled a date for the interview, which was like 3 weeks from the time that they reached out to me, and all seemed legit. It was actually like the best questions I was ever asked too. And so the day came, and literally like 5 minutes before I'm supposed to go on, they dropped the link to what I'm supposed to join, and it was I had to download a client to. It wasn't Zoom. It was like a Zoom alternative, and right when I go to the download thing, I'm like, oh man, this is such a bad idea. Like, this is how you get hacked, you know? And I said that. I was like, you know, this is not the right way to do this. But I did it because of the sense of urgency of having to be on in like 3 minutes. I just did it as fast as I could, and that was a huge mistake. And what's funny, though, was nothing happened for like a month. And I was just kind of like, I felt kind of sick about it. Like, the interview didn't happen. Like, the program didn't work because it wasn't a real program. And yeah, like a month later, I got hacked. I think they were waiting for me to move amounts off of my ledger into my hot wallet, and so they eventually gave up and just took some. They took one of my kid called Beast. They took a gemma that I had, and they took all the ETH that I had in that wallet, and it was a sucky day. Don't recommend it to anybody. Don't download anything. What was interesting was like I just had a funny feeling that I was hacked, you know. So I was super careful on my computer just in case, like not entering passwords and things like that. I was like copying and pasting passwords, sort of. And then one day I just found this folder randomly in some other folder that was like everything that they got, and they got like everything on all of my browsers. So they were able to like unlock everything on the browsers. It was pretty crazy.
And that was a key logger?
Yeah.
So
Or
they could just...
yeah, basically, yeah.
Well, all right, we don't need to spend any more time on that, but I'm sorry that
Yeah.
happened to you, and for everybody else, just be very cautious what you download and don't fall.
Are you still doing stuff in like Decentraland or like
Oh, yeah.
3D? Are you?
Yeah, I love Decentraland. Decentraland's really great. Most of the stuff I do is Decentraland and Hyperfy. I have an other side parcel plot, but we're still just waiting to see what they're doing. I've done the tests, but I'm kind of bored of the tests, honestly. I want to build. But yeah, Decentraland has been amazing, in my opinion. Like, when I reflect on what it was in 2021, it's come a long way, and I'm having a blast building cool things still.
Are you doing like live events or shows, or
Yeah.
is there still like a decent amount of people in there?
I mean, it's not a huge amount of people. I probably get like 30 people at an event, 30 to 50 people, which is not what it used to be. I think at the peak of the bubble, I had my record, I think, was like 1,300. No, not 1,300. It was like 380 people at once. So and they had to split it up on different realms. So because you could only fit 100 people each realm. So that was nuts. Like, you could barely load in for like 10 minutes before it crashed. It was just so packed. And that's like on a single parcel, my little single parcel build. So it was just like swamped with people. But it's not like that anymore. And hopefully someday it will be. But who knows? We'll never know the future.
Nice.
I personally, I've said it since the beginning, like when I first built something in Decentraland, my mentality was like, how long are they going to let me be here with my type of art, you know? And I was expecting, because of my history of being suspended from Instagram like 3 times, I've been flagged so much from Facebook and all these platforms, I was expecting to be kicked out after a while, even though like I bought that land, you know? And to my surprise, like, the community accepted me with open arms. But my mentality was like, I'm just building this for me, things that I want. I don't care if anybody comes. I don't care if anybody ever shows up. And, you know, luckily I got the result was different from what I expected. And it's been amazing.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like that's the best way to do it too, is just build for yourself, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
I'm curious here. Let's see. Are you trading anything? Is there anything like catching your eye in the market currently, or are you just kind of...
So I've never been a huge trader, but I dabble a little bit, and because of Hyperfy, I jumped in on Hyperfy, I think in 2023 or 2022. I can't remember. It was pretty early, and they recently had an airdrop back in like January, and because I was so deep in it, I received a lot of Hyper token, and so I've been actually like playing with it out of curiosity. I got caught up in that little shitcoin thing we had going with Solana, and lost a little bit, but then ended up getting it all back, like trading Hyper, selling the peaks and buying the dips, you know. And so I was able to get back to where I was, and then some. And that was a really interesting experience, because like I'm watching everybody else sort of like panic about what's popping, and then it crashes and they lose a lot of money. Meanwhile, I'm just like focusing on the trend of Hyper itself and capitalizing off of that, and I was making money while everyone else was losing money. And it was like a brain shift on ways that you can trade successfully. And so I've been focusing a lot on Hyper. I think I'm not touching it. I'm not messing with it now. I'm happy with the amount that I have. I might do it one more time, but I don't know. It's like playing with fire too sometimes.
feel that.
And I have ETH, I have mana. I'm stacking mana right now because, again, like, I pay attention to the peaks and the dips, and mana is actually very consistent as far as like where the bottom is. And right now it's like pretty close to the bottom. So now's a good time to buy mana. Now's a great time to buy hyper, and I expect mana to touch 70 cents again someday. At which point I might flip the bag and then buy back in next time it dips.
Do you know if there's any like catalyst for mana right now, or is there anything?
I suspect if Meta makes any announcements, it'll boom again. Same with hype. Everything metaverse related will boom the way it did in 2021. It may not boom to as high as we saw it in 2021. It totally could, but anything is possible. But it'll certainly, I personally believe it'll certainly break $1 at the next metaverse news, the next positive metaverse news. And then also it's attached to ETH, so if ETH goes up, it'll go up. But I was trying to mathematically sort of understand: is it better to hold ETH and watch ETH 2x? No, it's better to hold mana and watch mana 4x. You know, so it's kind of tricky. There's a lot of weird intricacies that.
Yeah, I feel like it's also like mana tracks ETH, and
right.
It's a smaller market cap, and it's just easier for it to be like manipulated. So you just got to pay attention.
Right.
Whereas
Which is
like
the same
ETH
case with Hyper
yeah,
and
exactly.
Solana.
Exactly.
And I found there was like during my exploration, I found that if I sold the Solana and was messing with Solana, I was making more money if I sold Hyper to USDC and then back and forth there versus to Solana. So like holding Solana and buying those peaks and dips made me less money than holding Hyper. So I just kind of stopped messing with Solana as a result.
So, regarding other projects, like, are there any maybe layering the IRL and digital that you're watching?
Well, I'm watching Dr. Drip for sure. He's doing some amazing stuff. I'm rocking my one of my artifact shirts today. Like, it's funny to me. Like, you look at traders and people that buy NFTs that have physical value, and a lot of people care more about floor price and instead of like what it offers. And I'm big on. I'm not so crazy about physicals. I have so many physicals that I bought and they're just sitting in my closet, still in the boxes. And a lot of the clothes that I got don't fit right. So like, I'm not too crazy about physicals, but I see the value. I see more value in the augmented reality use cases of them. So I'm more interested in the 3D assets that come with it. And it was funny because like Artifact was big on Fidgetals, and it's cool. It's super cool for sure, especially the Crypto Dunk shoes. I love those. I have 2 pairs of those. And but to me, the more valuable part was the 3D asset and being able to use it in the metaverse and rock it on avatars and create content with it and IP usage of certain things. So, like right now, I'm watching Drifters, which is by Josie Bellini and the Cyber Brokers. Cyber Brokers is an amazing collectible on Ethereum, which the art itself is actually on the chain, not in interplanetary file system, the IPFS, which we see everybody worried about their digital asset disappearing after a while. Cyber Brokers took their profits and actually put the NFT image on chain, like as if it was a Bitcoin ordinal, but they did that before ordinals existed, you know? And so Cyber Brokers, that's cool. That's historical. They did that like in 2022, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And
March of 22.
yeah, and then they did a little secondary drop called Genesis Max, which was all these 3D giant, amazingly designed mechs, and you could buy parts and you can put it together and mint your own giant Genesis mech and name it and everything. And it comes with 3 VRMs that you can instantly jump into Hyperfy and load them up without downloading anything and use them. And you have full 100% IP ownership of Cyberbroker and Genesis mech. And so currently, I think minting right now in the next 5 days is Drifters, which is a whole new Cyberbroker-esque asset, just a character like an apocalyptic character, cyberpunk character that you'll be able to put together. You buy the parts, you mint the parts, you basically you're minting a pack and you're able to create your own character and name it, and then this character will have a 3D virtual avatar that you'll be able to use the IP and everything for. So I'm into that, and I was pretty big on Vipes when that was around. That to me was the biggest surprise that failed in the long run, and it just showed me that the web, I call people that are not in Web3 normies, but I call Web3 people that are not in the metaverse yet, I call them Web 2.5 people. They don't really know the real value of some of these assets that you have. And Artifact has Animus, which is almost as cool as Vipe. It doesn't give you a full product right out the gate. You have to download the asset and then convert it and everything to make it use it as a avatar. But these are the things that I think are amazing. And if you look at this, I think the floor is $30 or something on Animus. For $30, you get a full high quality asset that you could 3D print. You could create an avatar. You can create cartoon characters and create a series on YouTube if you wanted to, or all sorts of things. To me that is extremely valuable. Insane content creation through your virtual studio, ready to go in a world where content creation is everything. As far as you can live in a mansion if you successfully create content on YouTube. So that's the stuff I'm interested in.
Yeah, I think that is really interesting, and I did work with the Vipe team a little bit while they did some stuff in Hyperfy, but I'm wondering on your end, what do you think? What's the gap between people not valuing these assets and then what is the value in your mind? Is it that you can 3D print things? There's that virtual world in real life phygital aspect to it. Is it just that we're early and people haven't really caught on and are spending enough time in 3D worlds?
I think in my exploration, I'll give credit to this guy Swissverse, who is an OG in Decentraland, who also caught wind of Hyperfy, and he identified, I don't know if he heard it from someone or if it was his thing, but he identified 3 personality types. There's the users, the tinkerers, and the devs. I'm a tinkerer. I'm not a dev. I don't know insane coding and stuff. And then there's users. Users are just the people that come consume what's created. They come play the games and explore the content. They have no interest in trying to build anything, And I think in the real world, it's similar. You have people that just scroll endlessly on their smartphones. You have people that create, influencers and content creators, and then whatever the third is, the people that program, right? I think the world we live in right now, especially here in California, there's just so much content creation, and it's something that I've been doing for 20 years now, right? Just creating my own work. I'm conditioned to work for myself and create for myself. I think most people are not conditioned in that way. They're always looking to find a job that someone else makes the money and you get a piece of it, right? Or there's just a dependency on something else, and I see that in the metaverse. I see people worrying about the value of hyper, or expecting other people to fix things that don't work. And Decentraland, there's a history of things that don't work. I always say, if it's working, is it even Decentraland? But you can you can work under limitations. You can create things under limitations that are amazing. So if it doesn't work, what can you make to make it work? That's the way that I think. And I think most people don't think like that. And I think until they're introduced to that mentality, they won't be able to benefit off of that. They'll always just be users. But those that do figure that out, they'll be able to benefit and capitalize and you know, take advantage of these things. And I do wish that collectors of like you hear about Artifact and everybody complaining about it being a rug. But when I look at Artifact, I feel like I was given so much. When I look at Vipe, like I wasn't disappointed when it shut down. Like they gave so much, and I still use it every day. You know, like there's a Hyperfy world I made called hyperfy.io/DJ, and it's if you go in there and you don't walk in the X. There's an X that you walk into, and then you become a DJ. And then, but I want to specifically show you, don't walk into the X and just kind of walk around. You'll see like all my assets, most of my assets that I own in there. Like those are all mine, and I built this thing specifically because in Decentraland we need DJs, and sometimes, you know, maybe you can't afford a DJ. So I was like, well, what about if you create this little thing where you take your asset that you own and you walk into the, like this thing, like you could do this right now with your own virtual avatars, walk into the X, and then it'll start playing music with lights that react to the music, and then there's a whole crowd of virtual avatars, and you can just screen capture that and then throw it on the screen in Decentraland, and you have a DJ. You know, and it's just like, to me, like I thrive off of creating things like that. That's like my that's my motivation. I'm not driven by money making, and I've found that, and I totally agree with this in Web 2 content creation world, as far as like YouTube and stuff. Like just make what you want, create cool shit, be authentic, and the money will come. That's happened consistently to me for like the last 5 to 10 years, and that's a hard thing for, I think, most people to believe in, but it's possible.
It's a great philosophy.
Yeah, I think that's
it's been working really well for me.
Yeah. I think that's kind of like the thing is, you know, a lot of people might go into something and say immediately like they're trying to make money or whatever, but to your point, it's really like the tinkerers or the people that are kind of like understanding where the true value comes from, where the true demand comes from, whatever their niche is. That's the ones that like end up hitting on something big, right?
Right.
And I do think we are a little early to this whole like 3D virtual world space. I think in Web 2 they have like VR chat, but I do think that there's going to become a time where more and more people will have a virtual avatar, you know, have this kind of like phygital connection, you know. And I've seen some projects like 9DCC, and there's another one like Merch, and they tried the whole like phygital angle. And you mentioned that you think AR is kind of where the sweet spot is for some of this stuff.
Oh yeah, MR. I should say MR, mixed reality. AR meaning that like you can connect, like you can throw the Artifact shoes on your feet with your phone, right? But mixed reality, I think, is where it really is with the, you know, VR headsets. I think are already becoming obsolete a little bit. Then it's more focused on like the Ray-Ban glasses and like just like specs that you can wear. And I read recently, I don't know if it's true, that the next Quest is not going to be the traditional headset anymore. They're already shifting that, and they've already, I think Facebook has already eliminated the VR from their copy, and they're referring to it as MR and XR, and that's where I see it all going. Like the ability to flex your digital assets. If two people are wearing the glasses, it'll appear right in front of them. You'll be able to show off stuff, and you can't do that with physical things. Like I have artwork on my walls, and I can talk to people about the art that I own, or I can just whip out my gallery on my phone, you know, or they can join the gallery on my phone and go explore it themselves. And like, it's just so convenient to me, convenience always wins, and that's definitely where I see things. It was funny one day, me and a couple others, Brandon Manis, Mariana, we jumped, and CK Bubbles, we jumped into VR chat to explore, and some kid was like stealing our avatars. They were just pirating our avatars. It was like a 10-year-old, and he was like bragging about it, and then we had to educate him like, oh, these are crypto avatars. These are 100% CCO, so you're welcome. You know.
Yeah.
But it's like that to me just like demonstrated perfectly where we're headed and the idea of ownership. And it's like those happen to be crypto avatars, and if it wasn't, yeah, you'd pirate it and you'd have it, but you wouldn't own it. You wouldn't be able to flip it and sell it if you wanted to, you know, for a profit. But it's cool to know that like that's happening already, you know, with the kids.
Do we have time to do a quick vocab word?
Yeah, we do.
Let's. Today's word of the day is meat space. Dan, will you read the definition, please?
Yeah. A tongue-in-cheek term used in internet and Web3 culture to refer to the physical world, as opposed to digital or virtual environments like the metaverse or blockchain. It highlights the contrast between online identities and real-life flesh and blood existence.
So, meat space.
Which I think Roustan bridges pretty well.
Yeah.
I think that's.
I love that it's like a typo for Metaspace too. Like it's similar.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah.
So
and Shelley, you had asked me if I was joining as an avatar or in my meat suit. That was the first time I heard that. Did you coin that, or is that
Oh, I don't know.
great.
The first time I heard meat space was in a Twitter space like years ago, and it stuck with me because I was like, that's brilliant. We were all immersed so deeply into virtual worlds that I was like, oh yeah, here I am sitting on my couch during lockdowns. I'm like, this is meat space. Look at us, just fleshy bodies sitting here rotting. And so I just loved it. So now everything is like meat, whatever, your meat suit. So, okay, we have about 16 minutes left. I'd like to do the One ETH challenge.
Okay.
Where
Okay.
if we handed you one ETH this very second, where are you investing it? Is that Web3 art,
Yeah.
metaverse real estate, wearables?
That's a
What are
tough
you
one,
doing?
right? Like, I think most people's tendency is to buy something that they think will boom and then they'll profit from it. My tendency, like, I've been loving, the thing I love most about the bear market is buying things that I couldn't afford 2 years ago. Like Clone X right now is like, I bought 2 clones and I'm using the assets. So like I would probably buy another clone. I would definitely buy another cyber broker. I would probably mint a bunch of drifter stuff right now, even though like the high end part of the mint is already sold out. I think there's like 4 days left. If anybody wanted to mint anything from the drifters, which I recommend, but again, not for profit, for use. Anything that I can buy that I can use, that's what I'm going after. Animus, Clone X, Cyber Brokers, Genesis Mechs, drifters, probably maybe some more Kid Called Beast stuff. I'd probably investigate other side and see if it's worth buying more land. It's still hard to tell right now. I'd probably buy more Decentraland plots. And then what else? Whatever else I could find. Anything inspiring to me is what I'd go after.
Do you think, have you done anything on ApeChain? I don't know what happened to that other side, because other side got passed around. Like they were like Yuga Labs was developing it, and then they like sold it off.
Yeah.
And they had M3 is the company. It's like this. It's basically a mixed reality
M2,
developer.
M2,
M2.
Yeah,
M3. Yeah,
Improbable.
M2. Yeah.
Yeah, but last I heard, like, the better CEO is back at it. Like, who knows what's true though, right? But I think that, I don't know if that's still currently the CEO or not, but he switched it from MMORPG, whatever that the acronym is, and he switched from that to user-generated content, which I thought was like the greatest move ever. because I'm not interested in the other.
Yeah.
But we're just still waiting, right? We're still
Right.
waiting, and I don't know. I think the tests, from what I understand, are extremely expensive, so it doesn't seem like a platform that will be able to be open all the time because of the costs. So I don't know how they're resolving that. Again, I don't even know if I fully understand it. So, but as far as we've seen, we can only jump in the world 5 to 10 times a year, and that's no fun.
Yeah.
I just want to build. I don't want to run around shooting people all day.
Right. I think that's a good point, right? That's why I think Decentraland and Hyperfy, the other two metaverses you mentioned, they have like that open concept where you can, I mean, it's your space, you can develop it. It's sort of like this open world UGC type thing. But like other side, to your point, it's been too expensive to develop. The tech's maybe not there. Improbable specializes, because I was kind of deep into this last year, a little bit in 2023, 2024, and I noticed that they do a lot of like events. So they try and partner with like big media brands. So I remember one they did was like MLB, Major League Baseball. They had like a virtual World Series viewing party. Cool. And then the other side, I was out in Hong Kong for Ape Fest in 2023, and they did a viewing, like a test viewing, like at their big party there, but it was closed beta. Like you can't just like jump into it. So, and I think to your point, it might be just like really expensive to develop, and and I do think Yuga, I do think like Yuga ended up like selling off some of that. I don't know, maybe, So that's one thing. I mean, I'm really interested in seeing it, but like you're saying, like we just don't know what to expect from it. Right.
But if I get the chance to build anything cool on there, I don't care about the number of people. That it's the same as Decentraland, and they're inspired by Decentraland. I remember one of the tests that they brought up Decentraland, and they were talking about how they want to make something better. And to me, that was a bad look to do that. What that shows me is like we've seen Spatial, we've seen OnCyber, we've seen so many things shift and change, but one hardcore fact is Decentraland is here, growing, improving, hasn't changed through the bear market, still has a little bit of runway. Sandbox is doing pretty amazing. I don't have land in Sandbox, but I've explored it a lot. While everybody else, and there's like venture capitalist platforms like Nifty Island, I think they have limited runway, and whenever I get a whiff of VC-based platforms, I'm instantly turned off. And other side kind of has that a little bit, and and I haven't really talked enough about Hyperfy. Hyperfy is my favorite, and like Ash Connell, who founded Hyperfy, like Tim Cook from Epic Games is in his DMs, asking about potential use cases and things like what he's building and stuff. And it's like there's some serious promise with Hyperfy, and I certainly cannot deny how awesome Hyperfy has been to me, as far as, especially at the very least, buying an NFT and profiting from it. Nothing has topped Hyperfy yet, and nothing has really topped Decentraland. I mean, Decentraland has made me so much money by making my investment and participating in it. And I won a clone there when the floor clones were 15 ETH, and it's just like, I don't know, like I just cannot stop recommending, like, don't worry about money, go there, explore, participate, have fun, enjoy, build, create, and reap the benefits from that. Like that was the way.
That was the crazy thing too, was like nobody that was in there was expecting an airdrop. It was just just happened, and it was a great. And I mean I was
life changing.
I had a couple of them. Yeah, I had a couple plots. It was good. It was a good month, but I never thought about that. Like I was going into that community to chat with creators.
Right.
I was never in there being like, I'm gonna farm this. Like, you know what I mean? Whereas to your point, unfortunately, I missed Nifty Island, and they actually came into my community and asked us to be, because I have a 3D collection too. Still a work in progress, but I have a 3D collection too, and they asked us to be a community in there, and my community didn't get it, and I was like, no, we should do this, and so I ended up missing Nifty Island. I didn't know they were VC backed. I thought it was a token drop, but yeah, to your point, like
came after.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
They spent like 2 or 3 years building it, and then they dropped the token. But I don't know for sure if it's VC backed, but it seems to be funded by somebody. It didn't just come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
It just has that whiff, and like Nifty Island is great. Like it's a great platform. It's really cool what they introduced. I don't know. I just see it being like kind of the same fate as On Cyber a little bit.
Right.
My prediction, I should say.
Yeah. Let's see what we got here.
And I was showing this Hyperfi chart, which looks so ominous, but I think it is so incredibly undervalued. And yeah.
Yeah. So actually, it's good that you're showing the chart though, because like the bottom line there, you see all the ups and downs, you know. And I was able to double my holdings in that bottom the way that I've been trading.
Nice.
You know, half the battle of trading is knowing when to sell, right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of like Hyperfight taught me that's for sure.
Yeah.
It's like a tricky thing, and like fighting the euphoria, you know. As soon as everybody's talking about we were life-changing money, like we made it, like maybe sell.
Shelley and I were talking about that too. It's like you just have to force yourself to sell a certain amount, right? Like when you're getting free airdrops like that, and you know it's free money, it doesn't hit the same as when you worked for your money. So like you're like kind of like, oh, this is special, like this is something to hold or whatever it might be. But most of these airdrops, even though Hyperfi has a real product, it has real users, it's going to be big. I believe that. It's like most of the time when these token generation events happen, it is straight down, like people pull their liquidity, right? So you're either waiting or you got to take half off the table and then maybe buy back in later, obviously. But that is a good point. It's the hardest thing with trading is it's not so much knowing what to buy, it's knowing when to sell, right?
Mm-hmm.
Totally. And I find like dealing with strategy, like trend, like history, right? You can either hold and hope that it goes up, or you can know that history shows that pretty much everything comes down.
Yeah.
To sell and buy back in.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I've been, you know, even if I'm wrong about it going up, to me, anything green is a win, always, no matter how bad it is. I'd rather lose money because it went up than lose money because it went down.
Right. Yeah, I agree with you. It's like, all right, maybe I'll miss the extra 20%, 30% gain, but at least I got out with a profit.
No one went broke taking profits.
Yeah, exactly.
So we only have a few minutes left. Let's fly through the multiple choice quiz real quick. And because there are different latency issues depending on where people are located, we're just going to do these questions for fun. Prizes will be after, because like MetaTiger's in Germany and he was like, somebody has already answered the question by the time I actually see it on screen.
Gotcha.
So it's not a fair way of distributing the prizes. So This is just for your own personal flex to get the answer right. And then if you haven't, please comment in the chat. If you're on Twitter, make sure you are commenting on the actual video, not just on the tweet, to get your name on the wheel, because we will be running giveaways. Then first question, if my slides are working. Why is this not working? Next slide. Uh-oh. Wah,
Frozen.
wah. I maybe have too many tabs open. Let me close some of these. Well, this is very strange.
First question: what month did Facebook announce Meta? What month and year?
2022?
I think it was 2021. I just don't know what month. Maybe
June 2021.
ish. There we go. Good grief. Do you know the answer, Roustan?
October 2021.
Okay.
Hey! All right. Okay, question 1. What's MeetSpace? 1A, VR headset brand. 1B, physical world. 1C, blockchain protocol. Or 1D, NFT skin. Type your answer in the chat. Wet Juice Box is here on X. What up, Apsy? Jose's here. Shatal Godara. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for being here. It's Friday the 13th. There's a lot going on in the world. It's good to see our friends. All right, 1B is the correct answer. It is MeetSpace, the physical world. Question number 2. Where, Paul, I never call Roustan Paul, so that's just like a who the hell is that? Where did Paul mint his first NFT? 2A, Rarible. 2B, Decentraland. 2C, OpenSea. 2D, Nifty Gateway. Do you know the answer? Yes. Well done.
But I'm not going to say it because the audience needs to get it.
Yeah. And we're going to fly through these because we only have 1 minute left. The correct answer is 2C, OpenSea. Question 3. What's one reason Roustan chose metaverse galleries? 3A, lower venue cost. 3B, supports global footprint. 3C, built-in community access. Or 3D, all of the above. Roustan should be telling us the correct answers. Come on, chat. Where is everybody? Get your answers in. Were you affected yesterday by the Cloudflare disaster?
No.
Roustan, were you,
I think I missed it. I think I was asleep.
I was working on a few different things and I was like, oh my god, ripping my hair out. Why is nothing working? Apsy, you are correct. All of the above. Question 4. Alpha in trading means 4A, first token drop. 4B, early high conviction insight. 4C, blockchain testnet. Or 4D, NFT minting order. So what's next for you, Roustan? What are you working on?
I'm trying to find a couple campers to kill.
I didn't look at you before. See, I heard that and was like, what? And then I looked. Got it. You're in character.
There's I don't know, like I just finished a huge workload with real life gallery stuff, connecting the metaverse to the gallery, and I think for now I'm just taking a small break, but I want to drop some more avatars. I want to use my CloneX IP and body paint the CloneXs and make avatars of those that people can collect. And then more
That's
Hyperfi
fun.
stuff.
That's very fun. All right. Well done, guys. It is 4B. Number 5, what's a realistic way Roustan could use token gating in his art? 5A, only NFT holders can watch a live body paint session. 5B, you need a token to unlock the final image of a painted model. 5C, holding the NFT gets you painted IRL, by appointment only, obviously. Or 5D, all of the above. And maybe we don't even wait for the answer on this one. Roustan, have you done all of these?
All except for, I mean, I guess I've done the appointment thing sort of loosely. One collector, I painted one collector, one of my top collectors. But yeah, basically.
All of the above is the correct answer. Dan, what are you doing? Something's happening. I can see it, but everybody else can't.
Do you want me to do this real quick?
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna mint another Zora token. Oh, it just went away. Okay. We are dirty.
I think, okay, let's get Rustan's input here. For this Zora token, should the ticker be dirty or we are dirty?
I like dirty.
Yeah.
Just dirty. So title should
Yeah.
just be dirty.
No, you can put a ticker in down here.
Oh, you can. It's different now.
Yeah, it looks like they just added something.
Ooh.
Do you use Zora Roustan or no?
Not really. I have a few things on it.
Before it was this format.
Yeah.
You've got some like older
I think I did
Zora.
like three. I think of three of this format, but I was using Rodeo for a bit, but I've kind of lost interest in it.
Yeah, that is true. Like, it's kind of, you got to stay consistent posting and interacting and collecting, but it's not as interactive as the 3D metaverse stuff.
Did you mint it?
Yeah.
Well, that was fast and anticlimactic. You didn't even we minted.
Beans.
Grumpy Mike, only an hour late. Oh, we're just wrapping up. But hello, and we are about to do giveaways. So let's make sure everybody's name is on the wheel. If you have not said anything in chat, jump in chat. We'll get your name on this wheel. We're going to give away, let's see, I scooped up some Roustan wearables. We are going to give away the dirty token. I have to say, this is a photo I took of our dishwasher. There's a sign, obviously a magnet, and the girls write something different all the time. I might do a whole collection of all of the different ways you can say dishes are dirty, because they have a different one every day.
Really?
Oh, it's fantastic.
I don't even know this.
Yeah, it's wonderful. So we'll do a whole collage.
Okay, that's pretty funny.
And
The
the R,
shenanigans.
R stands for Roustan.
Yeah.
The day it was
Roustan.
minted.
Dirty. Yep. So,
Yeah,
all right.
that.
Let's see. I think we've got everybody on the wheel. Let's go. This is for a bag of dirty and a Roustan wearable. Anthony, let's go. Congrats. Do a few more. Sonia, Sonia, congratulations. And if you haven't already, jump in our Discord. We have a form to fill out to collect your wallet info so that we can send you your prizes when you win on the show. Mac Yank, congrats and hello. Good to see you. Haven't seen you in a while. Gary, let's go. The OG. All right, I think we are out of time. Roustan, thank you so much for being here. And next week on Friday, I think Stony, the artist behind our artwork, is going to come on. It's also very early. You guys are both West Coast, so
Yeah.
you might need to go over to Stony's house and be like,
You wake him
yo,
up.
Beans, wake up.
I guess it's a good time to also shout out that he's doing Mofaya Mondays at Casa Roustan every Monday now.
Let's go.
Oh.
That is very exciting news.
Awesome.
We'll
Into
have to jump
Centraland.
over there. Into Centraland. MoFi Mondays is alive again. And he's dropping a project on Ape Chain.
Okay. We'll have to go
Yeah.
over.
So we'll have to,
Maybe mint it live. Or is it not live
I think
yet?
the 28th is the drop date.
Okay.
So we'll get Stony on here to talk about his project. Again, of course, awesome artist. And thank you so much, Roustan. I hope you scare the crap out of your entire neighborhood in honor of Friday the 13th. And yeah, we'll see you soon.
Yeah, Roustan, I appreciate it. Thank you for being here.
Thank you
Always
so
a
much.
pleasure. I know you're also a watcher. You're an audience member most days, so we definitely appreciate that. And
Yeah, I try to
we
get up early enough.
For sure, we should chat more about Hyperfi and stuff, because I do have like I said, I have a 3D collection, but it's kind of a work in progress. I launched it 2 years ago, and it was supposed to be a VRM, but then the artist kind of screwed it up, and so I'd love to maybe do a V2 of it, because I have a plot I've hosted events, and it's just good to chat about that from someone that's in there every day.
Yeah, it's a really awesome build too. I've been there several times. It's really cool.
Yeah, appreciate
Ooh.
it. So
Exciting to see where these things might go.
yeah.
So real quick though, let's just everybody follow, subscribe to Roustan on YouTube. Beautiful artwork in motion. Where else can people follow you?
YouTube is the best. Twitter is a good spot. Roustan NFT. I've been wanting to change that name for a while to like something else, but Roustan NFT. But also, I wanted to show off Hyperfy V2. So go check out roustan.xyz in your browser, and that'll take you to my version 2 Hyperfy world whenever you want to go there. We just got caught up in such good conversation that we completely missed out. I might need to fix the domain. I'll look into that shortly.
That's funny. There we go. That's just probably our network here being like, what are you doing? We
Yeah.
get caught up quite a bit. All right, yeah, sneak peek. Or maybe we do part 2.
Yeah, it's
Gary
still
says-
in the works building, but it's been good to showcase things that I own, and I highly recommend. It's still being developed. Hyperfy 2.0 is still being developed, but it's really starting to get there quickly, so that it's super user friendly, easy to use, and easy to work. It's very powerful.
Yeah, this is just the load time alone. That was impressive. So we'll definitely, I say we do part 2 if you're available, and we do
Definitely.
all Hyperfy. All right, thank you so
Awesome.
much. Have an awesome weekend. Thank you everybody for being here. We'll see you next Friday.
See you next Friday. Thanks everyone. Thanks
Peace.
Roustan. See ya.
Later, all.